who is the editor of Urban Express News. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, and I have Mr. Sonia Oni, who is the editor for the Nation's newspaper.
Thank
So
you.
glad to have you in the studio.
Thank you. Editorial page editor.
All right, editorial page editor. Thank you so much. So we've seen the report. Of course, we heard about the verdict. The Supreme Court declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated for local government administrations, and it was declared that the 774 local governments will now be managing their own funds. So let me just get your view or your response on these verdicts that was placed on Thursday. Let's start with Mr. Twitter.
I think first and foremost, it's a very, very important principles that has been laid out by the Supreme Court.
Okay.
But let me also say that before now, I don't think there was so much an ambiguity as to what the provisions are with respect to what funds should accrue to local governments. The generic position of the Constitution is that all the local governments in Nigeria will be run democratically. That is not ambiguous. Secondly, there is no such a provision that allows somebody that takes money as lawfully belonging to the local government to be taken under any guise. The fact of the matter is that all of these years, the governors have probably hidden behind what they perceive as lacuna in the laws to appropriate what does not belong to them. Now, how do you spend any kobo from the financial account? The president, the governor, and even local government, none of them is empowered to spend a dime without enough appropriation. So you ask yourself, when the governor dips his hand into monies belonging to local government, how does it get, who passes the relevant appropriation bill? So in other words, it's like brigandage, financial brigandage. That's the only way to to look at it. But then, all of these years, they have hidden behind the laws because the same constitution says the laws for the running of local governments will be passed by the state houses of assembly. And those states, they just wake up because many of the people in the legislative assemblies, they are handpicks of the governors. So whatever the governor wants is what they do. They will just wake up one day and sack the local government, and then under the guise that the constitution charges them with the power to make laws for the government of the local government. So a lot of these anomalies now, I think it got to a point that first and foremost, every Nigerian seems to have come to an understanding that if you do not address the issue of our local governments in terms of equipping them and actually giving them muscle to be able to deliver those basic things, those basic services that they ought to deliver on, Nigeria will not move forward. You can imagine a governor sits down in the state capitals, he buys motorcycles, then guns for local farmers to keep for local vigilantes. And then you ask, what exactly is the function of local government if they can't purchase something as simple as motorcycles and things like that? So the whole thing is fraud reading and it's procurement reading. Everybody wants to be in charge of the purse, and the result is what we have found. Is where we have found ourselves today. And I'm happy that the Supreme Court did not even pretend that there was any anomaly. It didn't shy away from actually going beyond the letters of the law to actually invoking the spirit of the law to settle this matter.
All right, let's have Mr. Arias take a minute.
I take that the politicians are the ones that kills this what we call a federal system of government in Nigeria. First of all, the meaning of federal system, according to, I think 1967, Nigeria became a federal system. 1964, am I correct? 1963 becomes a federal system. They totally throw away the nitty-gritties of what it is called federal system, and then they begin to push for what is of their personal interest. Okay, that is how it started. My understanding of federal system is that it is a system of government that shares powers within its component units. What are the component units? The state government and the local government. If you talk about a sincere federal system, we use US, United States, as an example. We have a mayor, I recall one time like that when the mayor of New York attacking the president of the United States. You know, he has independent to talk on policies, on issues that the federal president-led federal government would do or want to do as a proposal to attack and to criticize constructively. But you know, in Nigeria, they have killed, politicians have succeeded in killing local government to make it non-productive to the people. Now that you even see them talking about it, is because of the fact that even security experts have begun to call for the need to allow local government to come alive. You would recall that the present chief of general staff, chief of army staff, said that we must allow local government to come alive if we want a functional system at grassroots level. So the governors and the rest of them have totally manipulated everything called local government. It doesn't exist in local government. Recently I saw them in my area. They'll be coming with one guy, I'm saying they want to collect money and then no accountability, nothing, you know. And I saw senior advocate Oja Ezekome was giving one argument about how to pay all the primary school and secondary school within their jurisdiction. These are things they succeeded in collapsing and networking into the state. When I saw about 20 years ago, I recall that local governments can only function after they notice it is towards end of the month and they want to collect allocation. They don't even come. The chairman would come from the town, Gombe. He will be coming from the town to Kwame. You know, he knows that 27 to 28 Jack and everything will come and then come to state, and then state will remove their own, and then whatever they give. I won a state award, and then when I proposed I gave a proposal, the local government told me, chairman said, you know, they only give us 5 million out of all every allocation, and then what we have here to pay security and then do one or two things. So these are the realities on ground. So the Supreme Court verdict is not really a surprise to a government student to the core. It's nothing to talk about when it comes to Nigeria is just operating civil rule, as I was concerned. If you want to operate real federal system, you know, I talked about this last time I was there, that even the state governors, you know, the judiciary must be independent. All the hierarchies of our judiciary, they must be independent. There was time those people went on strike asking for their independence. We can't see democracy working when somebody cannot agitate for his right. When the backlog of interpretation of judiciary is about 50-20 years to come, we are still on one matter. And then you want the law to interpret itself. If not for the fact that this law was taken to the Supreme Court by the federal government, I can assure you it will not see the light of day today. I can assure you of that. So the federal system of government is what we need in reality, and it includes even resource control. Resource control by states, okay? Even the local government must control their resources if we want a sincere federal system of government. And then every other things that must be shared within its component unit, including independent of the judiciary. Okay. So that's my view regarding the Supreme Court. So we are still working. We still need more work to be done. Yes.
All right. So of course the verdict came with different opinions, different views. And we had some people who were not particularly pleased with the verdict. And their opinion was on the fact that the verdict was against the 1999 Constitution that was provided in Section 162, subsection 6, that states that that each state shall maintain a special account to be called a state joint local government account, into which local government councils of the states and the federation account from the government of the states would all So they felt that this verdict was a misinterpretation of that.
You see, the first thing was acknowledge that the ultimate interpreter of what the Constitution says is the Supreme Court. So their views are unchallengeable. But let's even look at that provision. It talks about a joint account where these monies are supposed to be paid for. It did not say that once this money gets in there, then the states take them over. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be a kind of a transitional arrangement through which the federal puts this money. You see, money can't be hanging here. If you post a credit here or you post a debit, there must be a credit somewhere. It's just the same principle of bookkeeping. The whole idea is that these funds will go in. So it does not negate it. What the Apex Court has done is actually to go beyond the spirit. You know, I spoke on the letters of the law. You see, the law can be written in so many languages, but ultimately, what gives it life is the spirit behind it. Today, you see, people can even complain, apart from those issues. I've had it said that in a typical federation, you can't talk of a three-tier federation. In fact, ordinarily, the local government, they're not supposed to be a third tier of government. We're supposed to have a two-tier government, federal and the states. States as a federation entities. Yes, that's the pure form. But you see, I do not think these things negate the idea of federalism, really. You see, that now, the local government, it has become some kind of, they have elevated local government to a third tier of government. No. Even our present practice of federation is an anomaly. There is nowhere, no other judicial I've seen, whether it's in Canada or in America, where you have federation entities going to the federal to go and collect money. It doesn't happen. Ours is a very unusual kind of federation. And the principle is very clear. Everybody should be able to account for what belongs to it. You see, you go to the village. I was in my village the other time. The primary school that produced me, I was told that they were going to close it down because the pupils had left. And why? No provisions were made for teachers. All of them, they come to work whenever they like. As I speak to you, I had to take, through my town union, we've taken over the running of the primary school. Otherwise, the school would have collapsed. And we had a local government that's supposed to be functional. But now, I can boldly walk up to my local government chairman and ask him, one, because I know exactly how much he receives at the end of the month. He can no longer tell me now that the governor...
No excuses anymore.
I can tell him, this is how much collected. Show me the point that went to this place, and I want to find out how that money was spent. I can do that now, because now we are seeing money going in there. And there is no way you can actually channel development into the grassroots. You see, it's not just Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency that started this thing. Even Buhari, at a point, expressed frustrations. What exactly is going on? You see, these people come to Abuja, pick the check, and the check does not go get down there. Look at all of these palliative funds. If you had a functional and a robust and functional local government, this money will hit their account. The man in the local village does not need to go to his state headquarters to go and do for anything. He goes straight to local government. You don't need to travel long distances because these are people that are relevant to you. Now, before now, you see a governor buying official cars for local government chairman. Jeeps. I'm sure you remember the era of Argon Jeeps, which was not popularized. He bought Jeeps for them. Now, ask yourself, a rural local government like mine, for instance, why would you give the chairman a Jeep of, by today's worth now, about 100 million naira? The people will stone him if he used their money to buy it.
He can't say no.
You see, but now, if he dares to do that, people will ask questions. People will put him to task. Is this our money? You collected 700 million last month. You are using 100 million to buy a Jeep. Then how do you fix her looking at primary school buildings? How do you fix our roads, our rural roads? Today everyone is complaining. You can't bring goods. Tomato now gets rotten in the farms because you can't bring them to the internet. So that's the problem. Now you are going to be able to task them. And the whole thing actually is about getting every type of government, every unit of public administration to be accountable to that which is kept in their charge. This money does not belong to them. It belongs to all of us. So we must be able to ask them to account for every kobo. Now you can't say it is the government that asked me to sign. Many of them before now are aware. Many of those chairmen of the government will go to the states for jack. They will ask them to sign a document. 1 billion. And then when they are going, they are giving only 150 million. And they dare not talk.
Wow. All right. So still on the court's verdict, we also saw that the court declared that state government has no power to appoint a caretaker committee, which I think would be a very big issue right now. And
it cannot be. Because the law is there.
Let me state my
sorry, let me also state that a little research was conducted and found out that no fewer than 21 states in the country are currently, having this whole...
All of them does. Initially, before all of them does. This is what they do because they have a jack connection. you know. So they use that side as a conduit pipe to do whatever they want to do. But thank God for what the Supreme Court has done. I will just add, you know, that the executive, the Federal Executive Council should do what former Minister of Finance was doing, Okonjo-Iweala, publishing all amounts from federal to state to local government on our national paper, so that we can be able to hold these people accountable. You know, everywhere. Some people, I will not mention the CDA, they came to me. I helped them to put up a petition. Even CDA in Lagos State, they came to me about four days ago. I helped them to put up a petition, you know, to challenge the CDH executives. It's still, you see, what I discovered about this country is that leadership, that once there's a leadership demand and vacuum, many wants to go there with the understanding of what do I stand to take from the post of that. So this orientation must need to change, because our leaders must set example. So talking about caretaker committee, you're talking about, the constitution is not, the law, the Supreme Court verdict is very clear now. Once you are not having a substantive local government, no money, no cover comes in. So now it will push them to quickly do the needful, get everybody along, get the party, INEC, state INEC chairman on ground, and then do the provisions, make plans for it, put resources, and then give us a good local government chairman that we wanted. And then we see development in the way we want it. In the event anything goes or contrary, or me, Olusegun Ario, I will go and see the local government chairman. We will sit down. If you don't do what the people want, we will talk on it on air. So that is the development.
All right, so Mr. Sanya, you wanted to add in.
You know, the other issue that people have raised is, how do you now ensure that the people actually elected there, they are not the appointees of the governors?
Exactly. Actually, that is another point, actually.
Now, I'll tell you this. People are wiser now. Even if you are an appointee of the governor, or maybe the governor sponsored you to that office, you are now more than aware that you are going to be held. You have to understand your father's name. So many of them will go to jail from that. In fact, many of them will start their career by going to jail.
I can tell you that.
Because people will now ask questions.
And they don't have immunity.
I think, unlike the governors that have immunity, they don't have immunity. So you can't say the governor only gave me 100 million naira out of 700 million naira, because it is clear, it is proven. He said we should actually encourage, in fact, not just encourage, demand that the Federal Ministry of Finance publish these things as it was done in the past. So that the man in Yenogwa, or the man in wherever will know how much his own local government is receiving. Is actually receiving for that month. That way, even if you put a lackey there, okay, let me tell you, people will actually ask questions. Today, if a governor puts an unpopular person there, the next time people will resist him. And when the pressure comes very hard on these appointees, you see them, many of them standing up in the government and saying, I'm sorry, I'm answerable to my local government people. And that and there's something you can do. Because now, even the Supreme Court went as far as saying that even the House of Assembly that used to make laws to dissolve them, they are no longer allowed to make laws to dissolve them. Whatever rules you make is to guarantee their smooth running, not to impede their operation. So you can see, even the state legislatures have also been encumbered by that ruling of court. So because before now, what they will do is they will run behind the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly will say they will find something against them and say, okay, and because of that corruption. Nobody's talking about their own corruption, but they will see corruption in the local governments. You know, so it's going to happen. Somebody also said that maybe they would encourage their lawmakers to impeach them. When we get to that bridge, we will cross it. But at least suffice to say, for now, I think Nigerians are largely happy that we're seeing a breather, a new kind of that our local government, they need to breathe. You see, and we didn't have that in the past, but now, and it's not as if that there are no laws. It's just about Britain does not have a law, a written constitution. They are governed by codes and conventions. Now just look at the transition that took place in UK in the last week. No ceremony, no pomp, nothing. Everybody knew his place. there is nothing in our laws. There is never a country in the world that has all their laws codified. Never. Our own problem is the delinquency of elites. They know what is right to do, but they will never do it. And that's why you have to now pronounce on virtually every little thing under the sun. And I think it's really unfortunate. This is a wake-up call for all of us as citizens now to demand from our government services.
Let me add to what editor has said. Yes, you see, what we need is what he has said succinctly. We must demand, our people must demand for good governance from the grassroots. Now, the Supreme Court has interpreted, at least to a large extent, what we need, even if not all. You see, those things they have itemized and they have given a verdict upon, it's okay for us to follow these people in the way, you know, we would demand for good governance and nothing. Even if they have lucky, like you have said. Once the man is being put in as a candidate, you know, and then he faces the people, whoever he becomes, whether any party, when he becomes the local government chairman, he will know that he must answer for his name. Yeah. Because this time around, the poverty we are talking about is heavy at the local government. And this is allowing them to, you know, push pressure on these people. Many of them, okay, just look at in our area now. The last time we saw the presence of government there was during Ambody in Alimosho there. Okay, now we begin to see potholes and the rest of them. Little potholes that a local government within that jurisdiction should quickly fix.
So he doesn't.
He will tell you no money. Okay, but I don't want to use Lagos as an example because Lagos is trying on their own. But largely, local government system we need to. We want to, let me thank the Supreme Court for giving us, you know, another good opportunity, you know, to see the independence of local government in reality. Yes.